No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Something is about to break.
Hello and my voice just cracked. Hello and about to break. Hello and about to break. What is wrong with me? I'll tell you what's wrong with me. I'm completely exhausted, you guys. This episode comes out on Wednesday. I'm recording this on Tuesday afternoon. I just flew back from Dallas, Texas, where I was performing last night, and had lunch with the family for my birthday today. And now I am going to be driving in just a moment up to San Diego for a show this evening. And then after that, I get a couple of days of rest, and I'm very, very excited about it. It's been a great week, but it's been a lot of flying, a lot of cold weather, man. Dallas was nearly snowing. I was in Fargo just before that. And it's been one of those weeks that's really great financially, and it's also very rewarding because I get to perform a lot. However, it's one of those things that just reminds me that as an entertainer, you kind of got to take work when it's there because, you know, I've been in, 5 or 6 different states in the last week. And yet the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to be sitting at home. I've got a couple of shows here and there locally, just stuff in town. And looking forward to catching up and just hanging out with the family. We've got some friends coming in town to visit to stay with us. It's going to be good times. This week on the podcast, I'm so excited that Katie, the fetching Mrs. Hughes, sat down with me in the World Headquarters, and we talked about our story. We've been saying for a long time it'd be fun to just, share a little bit more about our life story and our story together. We've been dating. Yes, we're still dating, but we've been married for 15 years. And we started dating when we were 16 and 17 years old. And anyone who knows me knows that I am absolutely infatuated with Katie Hughes. She is just the most generous, loving, creative, wonderful, delightful human being I've ever met in my life. And I'm so excited that we get to share this conversation with you. We asked for you to ask us questions, and people did. On email, on Instagram, on Facebook. We said, ask us whatever you want, and we get into all those questions and answer them. And then we also just kind of share from the heart. And it ends with a really cool moment where we talk a lot about Katie's creative projects and the things that she's really passionate about, and also some fun new ideas. So I know that you're gonna love her, guys. You won't love her as much as I do. It's not possible, but you're gonna absolutely love her. She's wonderful. Before we get into the show, another big thank you to all the producers of the show. Thank you to everyone who's been donating to the podcast. One of the questions we got on the Ask Us Anything was, how do you make money podcasting? Well, folks, I'm still trying to figure that out. The truth is we have producers of the show. These are individuals just like you and I who love the program and want to give to it. And listen, it takes like 3 to 5 minutes to go on to patreon.com/about-to-break and to become a producer of the show. And I want to thank everyone who's done that. We've got folks who give $1 a month. We've got folks who give $25 or $50 a month, and everything helps. So thank you to everyone who's doing that. It really does offset the cost and the time associated with producing these shows. And really, it just helps us be able to do more to get this show out there. So thank you to everyone who's producing the show. If you want to be a producer, all you got to do is go to abouttobreakpodcast.com and scroll down just a little bit there on the page to where it says become a producer or support the show. And man, I'm so excited about the next couple of weeks. We got some great interviews lined up, and we've also got some really exciting ideas for how we can continue to make this an even better program for you each week. So thank you to everyone who's been supporting the show. Sit back, relax, and enjoy my conversation with the fetching Katie Hughes. Hey guys, welcome to the About to Break podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Hughes, and I am very, 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 very excited that across from me right now is the fetching Mrs. Hughes. It's Katie.
Yay.
This is funny, isn't it?
It's very strange.
It's because we're at our home.
Yes.
In the tiny little studio room that we built.
Mm-hmm.
And now we are going to talk to people that are not in the room.
Yes, it is. It is very strange.
I realized the other day that podcasting is really just having like a phone conversation with other people listening to it.
Yeah. So what do our phone conversations really sound like?
It's usually like, us talking about how we need to go to the store or where.
Yeah.
I won't say anything else we talk about. Oh, so this podcast, the idea for this was it's been like a year now since we started doing the About to Break.
Oh, yes.
It's been a whole year, actually. And we've done like well over 50 episodes. And we've never sat down and just talked about us.
Mm-hmm.
So usually it's me talking to another depressed entertainer about their life. Today it's you and I talking about...
Hopefully not your depressed wife.
No. I hope so. I hope. Well, but if we need to, we can.
I'm
babe.
not depressed.
So we asked people on Facebook if they wanted to interview us, and we got some questions on Facebook and Instagram. Our daughter is texting us pictures of snowmen. I usually keep the phone off, but I have it on because we've told people on Facebook they could ask us questions and we'll reply. And now there's 3 puppies. There's a text of 3 puppies. Oh, Kennedy wanted me to mention, since we're recording a podcast, she wanted me to make sure to mention that it's Lacey's birthday. Today's a big day, guys.
Happy birthday, Lacey Hughes.
Lacey is our dog that we like. I think you should like a dog, but we like her a lot. Like we Kinsey keeps texting me emojis. Oh, goodness.
So Maddie's texting you snowmen and Kennedy's
No,
texting you emojis?
No, these are both coming from Kennedy right now. Now there's a piece of pizza. She'll be mad that I ever said any of this
I
stuff.
know. I'm surprised she asked you to mention her name and say...
Well, she didn't want me to mention her. She just wanted me to mention...
Oh, you better edit it out.
that it's Lacey's birthday.
Well, let's share with how we met.
Oh, the story of how you and I met?
That's a good place to start.
That's good. Katie and I met in high school.
I feel like we should have somebody else interviewing us.
Yeah, this is very weird. This
That's
is
right.
you and I being like, talking to us about us. Well, I've always wondered, Katie, how you and I met. I've always been fascinated with the legend I've heard. Katie and I started dating in high school.
Mm-hmm.
We met when we were, 15, 16? We met and then began dating like a year later. Mm-hmm. And
Not quite a year later.
not quite a year
No,
later.
no.
We met in high school choir class.
Mm-hmm. He stood behind me in choir.
Yep. And I heard the voice of an angel.
Not really.
Katie has a lovely singing voice. She'll never let anyone hear it. But
No, I don't.
you have a wonderful singing voice. We see it too. We just saw, what was a movie we just saw, and we've all been singing those songs.
The Greatest Showman.
The Greatest Showman. That was a great movie.
Yes.
Not historically accurate, but
No.
but it was a very good movie.
But I did do some research after I
Oh, did you?
saw it.
Have
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
What have you found out?
He ended up divorcing his wife, Charity.
Charity's the one who was like his
I know.
support.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
He divorced her later in life,
Okay.
and remarried.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he divorce her?
He
I thought
divorced.
she died.
It
And then
said D for divorce.
could that
That'd
be
be
death? They were married until the big D.
Wouldn't it?
Oh, that means that's what.
I don't believe it.
Did it say a year and then a D? Did it say a year and a D, baby?
Quiet, calm down. Wait a second.
I'm so happy right now. I was so sad because I read it and it
no,
said
I feel
that
like
he loved her until her death. D.
Stop it. I'm gonna find out right now. You all are wondering.
Everyone's wondering, babe, when this podcast, if it
boy.
ever becomes successful,
Yeah.
which means that like dozens of people start listening.
Oh, babe, don't talk
I'm just
down
kidding.
to. I know.
No,
you
it's
make
great. We'll get
jokes.
to
Don't
we'll
do
get to
that.
that part. But
Okay,
no, most people they have like someone
No,
who
it
researches
looks
stuff.
like the divorce D.
Where? Well, let's go down to the part about where it says,
Personal information.
have you done that? Person
Yeah.
lived in death, nicknamed Charity. His wife died on November 19th,
Is that when the D?
1873.
Does that match the D?
Yes.
Oh,
she
yay.
died. And then he married Nancy Fish. Oh, whoa. Nancy
Yeah.
Fish?
Yeah, she just wanted to get married to change her name.
She's like, this guy's known as a hoodwinker, but
Do you
my
know
name's Fish.
how pleased I am?
Are you really happy
Yes.
now? Something that you all who are listening need to know about the wonderful fetching Mrs. Hughes is that Katie, if we're watching any show about any love story or any personal information, she's going to do the research to find out what happened next.
But I don't know what the D's mean.
No. Or sometimes a show where there's like a couple in the show and it's like a long running show. The best thing, if you want to make Katie the happiest ever, let her find out that the people who are in love on TV are really dating.
Like that happened on a show before.
It did. Was it Psych?
It was Psych.
Yeah.
Sadly,
she did.
She did not D. They broke up.
Yes.
And I believe she has since remarried.
Oh.
Yeah.
She married somebody else?
I can't do you really want me to do research
No, it's
right
okay.
now? I believe that's the case.
All you have to do is say allegedly, and then you can say whatever you want.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
She's married. But look at P.T. Barnum.
Oh my goodness, he does
He's
not
a
look
looker.
like he does not look like Hugh Jackman.
No, not at all.
Wow. Who does he
He
look
looks
like?
like a sideshow.
He does.
Sorry to all P.T. Barnum's
No.
relatives.
Oh man, no, he looks like he's just an interesting fellow. He doesn't look like the Greatest Showman. Yeah.
Maybe that's why he was the Greatest Showman, in spite of his looks.
Well, you know what? In the 1800s, everyone looked like that. Have you looked at photos? There's very few people from the 1800s that you're like, well, that's a gorgeous. Well, every century or every, millennia. Is that a...
Maybe we would have done well in the 1800s.
It's like we joke about like we live in Southern California. It's like in LA I might be a 5, but in Wisconsin I'm a 10. I'm a solid 9 in Missouri. But you should have seen me in the 1800s. Katie and I met in high school as we were talking without interruptions.
Easily distracted too. Sorry.
Yes, we are easily distracted. At any moment we could just walk away and forget that we started doing this. High school sweethearts.
Yeah.
Went to all those lame high school dances together.
Oh, we have lots of great pictures.
Lots of great pictures of us swing dancing. That was one of the questions. Is Wendy asked if we still swing dance.
Swing dance.
Yes.
I don't know.
We took swing dance lessons when we were in high school.
From who, babe?
From Betty May.
Yes.
Yeah.
Betty May.
Yeah. And it was pretty awesome.
And if anybody that knows me knows how much I really despise dancing, that was out of love.
It was pure love.
Yes, that I did that. For you.
You did it for me, yes.
Yeah.
It could have been like the storyline of a 80s Brat Pack movie. Like, I can't dance, but I love him, so I need to learn how to dance.
Yeah, I never did learn.
Yeah. It's not like I can dance, though. It sounds like you
can dance.
No.
You have rhythm.
I got a natural.
Yeah.
Rhythmic.
Yeah, you do.
Thank
Taylor actually took tap dancing lessons.
I did when I was...
As a small boy.
I was never a small boy.
Yeah, you were.
Well, I was chubby. I was husky.
You were tiny when you were little.
I was little till I got my tonsils out, and then I could just pile food in. I was like a sickly child. Apparently, everything in the world was wrong with me. And then I got better, and then I got bigger. I remember going to school with the sticker, the sticker that says the size, 28, 28. And they repeat it over and over as if you forgot after you just read the size. But I went to school and it said husky, 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 husky. And it was on the back of the pants. So I walked around all day.
You didn't know it was there.
With husky on my butt.
Everyone, you want to know it's funny. All these stories that he shared.
Oh, that I'm telling you as if you've never heard them?
Yes. Oh, boy, I've heard them.
Gee whiz. I have nothing new. I feel like a hack. I
get excited when I hear a story about you that I didn't know.
Really?
Yeah, because it doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't.
Or where I wasn't there for it.
Yeah, this is crazy because we're now, what year? It's going to be our birthdays. It's your birthday tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's my birthday a couple days after that. Are we allowed to say how old we are?
I don't care.
Yeah, I love you. Wait, what's gonna change? We're
Okay.
30. We'll be 37
He's
and
doing
38.
the math right now.
Is that right?
Yeah, I always remember my birthday.
I know, because you were born on an even year, so it's like
Yes.
you were born in 1980,
80,
so it's
so-
like easy to remember.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be 37.
And I'm going to be 38.
You're gonna be 38, and we started dating when we were like 16, 17, 15, 16.
16 and 17.
16
we met when
and
we were
17.
15 and 16. Like maybe a few months before our birthdays.
Yeah.
And then we got together.
Yes.
Like literally days after our birthdays.
Yes, that's right.
On
So-
the 31st. January
so-
31st.
We've spent more than half of our lives together,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Like
And it wasn't like some relationships that young people have where they get together and break up, get together,
Right.
break up.
where it's like we've spent a accumulation of 10 years together.
No, we never broke up or kind
We
of.
didn't.
Yeah.
No.
And we were very much part of each other's families
Yes.
in the sense that, like, Taylor's family became, another family that
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had from the time I was very young,
That's crazy.
and vice versa.
yes. We would go to dinner at your folks' house.
And
Well, it was weird. We'd go to dinner at my folks' house, and nobody would really talk around the dinner table.
that was just the first time.
Just the first
I had
time,
dinner
yeah.
at your house.
Yes, and then you realize we are very loud and we talk a lot.
Yeah,
after that.
yeah.
And the first time I went to your parents' house, they had all this food, like lots of food, like a collection of different foods. It was like a hometown buffet.
Our dog's outside.
See, that's how you know we're from California. Our dog's outside. Kennedy's out. Somebody's out there.
Oh,
There's a
boy.
child
Get ready, guys.
outside with our dog.
I'm waiting to be interrupted.
Nope. That's okay. I'm going to take it out. What were we talking
Oh,
about?
why did she let the dog?
I don't know.
We
Oh,
were
the first
dinner.
So the first time we went to dinner at your parents' house and I came over, there was all this food, like a smorgasbord. It was like a hometown buffet's worth of food, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And because there was never like one meal. It was always like, we have a little of this and a little of that and a little of this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we want to share this about our families.
I know. I'm like,
right
where
now,
you
Katie's
going?
like, where we go? No.
Or
but
which? Hey, go
no,
ahead.
but we would put the food out and we would sit and we would eat. And the first time I was just like, I'm really thirsty, but there's no drinks. Like, nobody has a drink? And they ate the entire meal without a beverage.
Yeah.
And then I brought it up, and that's the moment that you guys realized you never drank during your meals.
Yeah, wasn't a thing. I don't know why, but it just never was a thing, which apparently is not bad.
It's like healthy for you to do that?
I think so. And then you drink after a meal.
Okay.
I remember one of my research.
one of the researches.
one time.
With
That's
the
what I
food,
discovered.
the like what's good to do food wise changes though so often I can't keep track. It's
Yeah, that's what I say. Well, at one point it was a good thing.
like, I know. Are
Who
eggs
knows
good
now?
right now? Are we at the? There's like a
Eggs are
cycle.
good.
It's like every 10 years, eggs are the best thing, or they're trying to murder you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
And then your dinner. What was dinner like at your house?
Dinner like at my house.
I ask you. Go ahead.
You go ahead. You obviously have
See,
something
Taylor's
to say.
such a better storyteller than
I don't
me.
think so.
I feel like I miss a lot of details.
Well, here's what's great. Whoever's listening right now doesn't know anything about these details.
Oh, I could make it up
yeah.
entirely.
Yeah. There we were on the peak of the roof of their house. They always ate dinner on the roof peak.
There really isn't much to say other than nobody spoke. I felt
And
like.
it was just really silent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I'm trying to size you up.
that's probably it. Well, and all your sisters were there.
Were they all there?
I feel like.
Well,
I
at
don't
least
know.
it would have been 4 of them were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other 3 were at the other house.
Candy, Cindy, and Sheree. Was Candy there?
I think she would have been.
Okay.
Yeah. They kind of all came together back then. This is back when we were children and we just went where our families went.
Yeah. We would go on family vacations together. So
We
Taylor
did.
would go boating with my family.
Yeah.
And go water skiing.
Yep. And you came with us to my grandmother's house.
Yes.
in Grants Pass, Oregon.
Yeah.
That I still want. I miss it.
It's a magical place. It is.
My grandma passed a few years ago, and so we haven't been in so long. It's weird when you go, and I know you and I have talked about this a lot. We're just gonna stop saying that, and we're just gonna talk to people here. But
Yeah.
it's weird when you get so used to going somewhere, and that place is, you go there because a certain person's there, and then when that person's gone, it's almost like that place doesn't exist anymore.
I know,
like,
it's really sad.
I want to go visit and go to the restaurants we went to and their house and all that, but none of that is.
It's not gonna feel the same.
No, so
it might be kind of sad.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. Speaking of sad, Evan Sigson right here on Facebook, on the Book of Faces, has said...
Why sad?
Well, because he said, do you still have that dope bus?
That's not you.
No, that's my father, Evan. My dad had that dope bus.
Maddie is calling me.
Answer him.
Hey, Maddie.
What?
Hey, we're recording right now.
Oh, I forgot. I was actually just looking for your phone inside. I thought you left it inside.
Oh, that's sweet, honey. No, I have it.
Sorry.
So you're being recorded right now.
If it was inside.
Did you hear me, Maddie? You're on recording right now.
Yeah, sorry. Bye.
Is it? Okay, love you. Bye.
So, yeah.
She's so cute.
I like our kids. We were just talking to some friends. They have grown children, and they still like their kids.
That's good.
Yeah. Because we make our own decisions, so... You know, not just, you meet some funky people. They may have had good parents and just made a decision to be a funky person.
I don't know. Our kids could still be funky people.
They could. Right now, I really like them.
Yeah.
They're the best.
Yeah. They're different.
I'll still like them.
Which
if
I
they're
like.
funky someday. But
That's good, babe.
Thanks, love. Evan wants to know if we still have that dope bus. Evan, that was my dad's bus. He's talking about either. My dad had a 1967 Volkswagen bus that was really rad. And then he also had this little tiny Subaru.
Oh, I saw
Do you remember
both of
that?
them.
Do you remember the little tiny bus?
I thought this was going to be a story I didn't remember. The clown bus.
The clown car. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And my stepmother at
you're
the time
right.
was a
clown.
clown.
I think she still is.
Well, sometimes.
Yeah.
Once you're a clown,
You're always a
you
clown.
can always be a clown. It's like, it's like riding a bicycle. Once you know how to twist those balloon animals and paint some faces up.
Yep, you're good.
Yeah. So yeah, Evan, that was my dad's bus. Sadly, they're both gone. The buses are both gone. So, no, the buses are both gone. But if you're looking for one, my dad will help you find one. He knows where. He could tell you where every cool car is in every yard in Southern California. Should we go through well, where are we at in our story?
Oh my
our
goodness,
journey?
you guys, you poor people.
I'm
You're so distracted.
Sorry.
So we met in high school.
Yes.
Got together January 31st.
January 31st.
Our date-iversary is coming up.
It is our date-iversary, you're right.
Yes. He asked me to be his girl using conversation hearts.
Yes, I did.
Taped to an index card.
Yes.
At No Future Cafe.
That was the name of it. How ironic.
Yep.
That place was great.
Isn't it still there?
I don't know if they still. A few years ago, they were still there. It was in Pasadena.
Yeah.
And
allegedly, they're still. I don't know.
Like we're gonna get sued from No Future.
No.
You said we were still open.
I don't know.
I guess they can't sue us if they're.
And we've been together ever since. We got married when we were 21 and 22.
Yes, we did. Holy cannoli! We were infants.
Very young.
We look at our wedding photos and we're like, it looks like an arranged marriage.
And then we had Maddie when
She's
25 and 26. Oh wait, no, 24 and 25.
24 and 25. We had our first child.
And then Kennedy is
called,
27 and 28. Yeah, we were.
Oh my goodness, and that's pretty much it.
That's it in a nutshell, guys.
No, we got a lot of questions about our past. Interesting fact for those of you who may only know us from the podcast or from me doing magic shows is I spent years and years and years working at a church as a youth pastor.
Yes.
Yes.
Those are some trying years.
Yes, they were.
It had some good times.
There were some great times.
Memories.
And we met some really cool people.
And then, yeah.
You were gonna say something. I love it. No, we were part of a church that I grew up in since I was like 8 years old. I was involved in this church, and Katie started going with me to the church when we were in high school, and we did all the summer camp and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then slowly I started working at the church. I got a job working with junior high kids. Anyway, long story short, down the road, we still love people, and we still have our faith, and we still want to help people in this world, but we figured the best way to do that was to leave where we were at. It was not a healthy situation.
No.
And so makes it a little sticky because a lot of people know us from that. And if you want to know more about that, you can buy us a cup of coffee or something.
What can they do?
No, if you want to know more about that stuff, I recorded an episode of a podcast called Losing Our Religion with my friend Zach Gandra. And you can find that. Most definitely, it's easy to find on net. So Katie and I have been together constantly, every single day since high school, through working at a church and doing magic shows on the side, to quitting magic altogether for a year, selling all of our props, selling our house, losing everything, living in a hotel for 2 months.
See, now everybody's going to be like, what? Tell us about that. We did live in a hotel for a little while.
Yeah, we did. So today we're just going to talk a little bit about our life and our story. We're going to answer questions people had on Facebook. And if you enjoy this and you have more questions, send us an email at abouttobreakpodcast@gmail.com. We will reply to every single email we get there. And who knows, if people like this enough, maybe we'll do it again and we can talk about other stuff. So
yeah,
we don't have to give the whole life story in the next little bit.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. Ryan Miller asked this.
That's my cousin.
Yeah, cousin Ryan. One must go to Target, Costco, or Trader Joe's.
Wait, what?
What's our one must go to?
Must
it's either
go to.
See here, he named Target, Costco, and Trader Joe's. Those are our three.
Okay, that's it. Yeah.
And we go to all of them for different reasons.
Yeah.
But if we had to go to just one, he's saying.
Okay, give me a second. I really gotta contemplate.
Don't get nervous. It's not a real question. I mean, it's a real question.
It's a real question.
Yes, but we don't have to. We look right now, both of us have a look like we're defusing a bomb because we love going to all these places.
You know what? I'm afraid I'm going to have to say.
What do you say?
Out of necessity.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm going to have to say Target.
See, that was hard for Kate because she's been emailing Trader Joe's like crazy, asking them to put one in.
Yes, if anybody from Trader Joe's is listening right now.
If anyone's got
there
some Trader Joe's,
fantastic location
in Upland, California.
We've
already got the shopping center picked out. It's for lease.
Yeah.
We can set you up. If
there's anything I can help you with.
It is funny he asked that though, not only because those are our three shops, but Target, Katie and I think almost every date we've ever gone on before we had kids.
Yeah.
And since we've had kids, especially.
It's just lovely.
We end up going to Target on the way home from our date.
Up and down the aisles without anybody, no kids asking for things.
It's, as we get older, and all of our wisdom at 37 and 38.
Is that not that old?
Well, we feel like we're old. We're not that old. Someone please email us and tell us that that's not that old.
There's a lot of people younger than us.
But I remember when I was a kid, I hated going shopping. I hated going to the grocery store. It was like the most annoying thing. But now, if I can go and not be rushed and just peruse, I love Target. I love going to the grocery store.
He loves a good peruse.
I love Costco, but I got to do it a certain way.
Yeah, he's a little weird about that one.
Yeah, Katie's smart. She will go to Costco and go directly to the thing we came there to get, but I have this, I don't know what it is. It's almost this Pac-Man pattern of Costco that we have to go a certain way, or else
And if anybody joins us, decides to shop with us at Costco.
Guys. I'm not very fun.
Yeah, you are.
Not at Costco. I don't want to miss any samples. I want to see every item on the shelf.
You just want to see whatever they have.
I want to see it all. I get excited about it.
I do too. I appreciate your method.
Thank you, love. Ed Burton says this. He says, my question would have been, what do you love more, good coffee or comedy? That's a tough one.
Silence.
That's a really tough one.
Can you have a good cup of coffee and watch comedy?
That's the best right there if you can do that.
Actually, I would prefer a good cup of coffee.
Yes. A good cup of coffee is much better than a good...
Well, comedy is all around us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
Of course, bad cups of coffee have led to a lot more comedy than good cups of coffee have.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
Sarah Hogue says, okay, here's my question. How did you prepare financially to take the leap into full-time entertainment?
Oh, that's a good one.
Good question, Sarah. The answer is we didn't prepare at all.
No, well, it wasn't by choice.
Yeah. We didn't know.
Well, I guess it
go
was
ahead.
by choice.
Yeah, it was by choice.
Yeah. When we left the church to start our adventure that we didn't know what included,
Yeah.
we didn't have a plan per se. And that's basically the moment we started your own career in entertainment. And even at the time, we didn't know what we were going to do for money.
Right.
We didn't leave thinking
Yeah,
this is how we're going to take care of ourselves.
I think a lot of people who knew us then thought that we left to perform full time.
No, we
Because
left
I wasn't even
because we
performing
needed
at the
to.
time we left. We left because it was the right thing to
Yeah,
do.
we felt like we needed to do that.
And the right thing for our family and for our sanity and our emotional and spiritual health was to not be there anymore.
Yes, it was very hard times.
And when we left, we even when we left, we assumed there would be some sort of transition.
Yeah,
and there
but
was
there
none.
wasn't.
So
yeah,
So basically, Sarah, we left and had nothing. We had sold our
No.
house, and so we had a little bit of money because we bought at a terrible time.
but we sold our house for less than we paid for it.
And we sold our house for less than we paid for it. Again, if you want to hear more about that, go check out the episode. I'll put a link to it here. You can go listen to me talk to my buddy Zach for 3 hours about that. But basically, we had a little bit of money saved from our house, and we just lived off that for a couple of months while we were trying to figure out what we were going to do.
Paid for therapy bills.
Paid for a lot of therapy.
A lot of therapy. You know?
And then we just said, I mean, it was one of those moments where it's like, okay, neither one of us has jobs right now, and
We lived in a little apartment.
we lived in an apartment, and even that little apartment, I mean, we're in Southern California, so that little apartment was $1,600 a month.
Yeah,
And-
$1,650, but yeah.
Thanks, love. You're right. Yeah, gee whiz, that's so much money.
Yeah.
So we lived in this 2-bedroom apartment with our 2 kiddos, and I went, well, I could either apply to get a job where I'm going to start very low because, you know, I hadn't been in any industry other than working at a church for so many years, or I could get a job at Starbucks, or I can give it a go and try entertainment. And I remember we talked and I said, I know that if I don't try at some point in my life, and I had said this before, when I didn't think I would ever do it full time, but I remember telling myself if I didn't, and then talking to you, like, if I don't try this, if I don't give it a go, I'm always going to wonder what if.
Yeah.
And if I try it and it doesn't work out, then at least I don't wonder what would have happened if I gave it my best, you know?
I think we gave ourselves like a time limit. Like if we weren't able to make a certain amount of money or support ourselves.
We couldn't pay our bills, or we couldn't, you know.
After a certain amount of time, then you would try to look for a job. Something else to point out is prior to you leaving the church, just working at the church, you always had a desire to be part of the entertainment world.
Yeah.
It never was your desire as a small child or even in high school to work at a church.
No. And I mean, we both always knew we wanted to help people.
Exactly. Yeah.
But from day one, assumed that would be through entertainment or something, you know, music or whatever.
The church was definitely a way to help people, but you never had a desire to be a pastor of a church or anything.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. That's just something to point out, that you always had it in you to want to do entertainment, music or magic or something.
Yeah, and I think, if I doubt there's people that were in our exact kind of situation, but I'm sure there's someone who is in a situation where maybe they have thought for years about, I think I could really do this and do it for a living and find joy in that. It doesn't ever, at least for us yet, 4 years later, it hasn't gotten easy.
No.
It doesn't. There's a lot of certainty that comes with knowing someone else is going to hand you a paycheck every Friday or every 2 weeks. But I think it's definitely more rewarding for us doing what we're doing now.
Well, I think both you and I are somewhat creative people.
Oh,
and we like to...
You especially.
Well, you are too. Our children are too.
Yeah.
I think everybody's creative, but I think...
Not everyone gives themselves the freedom to create.
Yes, exactly. And I think both you and I needed that freedom.
Yeah.
We really did. And so that opened that opportunity up for us.
Yeah.
And I think when we were at the church, we didn't have that opportunity.
No, and the situation we were in was, it was serving someone else's dream, whatever that was or whatever it ended up being. It was never about, it kind of took out the individual side of it. So you would almost I would feel guilty, or you could feel guilty if we did stuff for us or that we wanted to do.
Yeah, that's exactly true.
And for me, once we jumped in and said, okay, I'm going to do entertainment full time, that gave me the freedom to say it's okay to focus on these things you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And for you, when we bought this house, I think was a turning point, because it gave you, when we're renting a places, we can't do all the creative stuff that you're passionate about and that you love and thrive in,
Well, I love decorating and creating things for homes. And so our first place, every place we've owned,
right,
it's always been, let's fix it up to sell it. It never was.
Yeah, it was always the intent of.
Yeah, it was our home, but everything we did to it, we had to keep that in mind.
Like, we would redo a bathroom, but you're not going, what do I want it to be like? You're thinking, what's got a good resale value? Or
that's exactly it. Yeah. And I think, and then every rental place, you can only do so much to make it personal.
Right.
We rented, I don't know how many places did we? Just 2?
We rented, we sold our house, lived in the hotel for a while. The fabulous extended stay.
Yes. That is not a great memory.
That's the closest thing, I think, to jumping from boxcar to boxcar as you can experience.
Do you remember the man walking down
the
hallway?
I just talked with T2 on the podcast about it, because when he was working at Disney for 9 months, he lived in the extended stay.
Oh, it's an awful experience. We had, extended stay. We had, our children.
Unless they want to sponsor the podcast.
Oh, yeah, they go ahead. We had our children and our dog.
Yeah.
All in that little place.
Oh, my goodness.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, I lost track of what I was saying. But this house.
Every place. So we lived in there, because you were saying, where did we live? We lived there. Then we lived in the apartment, 2-bedroom apartment. Then we lived in a condo. Yes,
which was lovely. That was one of the best places.
Oh, yeah. Well, and this is where Katie's gifts really shine, is she's able to take any place, and make it a home. And do it in a way that's creative, and do it in a way that like us with no money and still make it something that's wonderful and that people want to come to, because it's peaceful and it's got a life to it.
Yeah, with this home, I decided when we moved in that I wasn't going to think about resale, because I felt like this was our forever home.
Yeah.
And who knows what time will bring, but at this point in my life, this is our forever home, and I absolutely love it. So I did any decorating, any designing, anything I wanted to do. I just did what I wanted and what our family liked, or mainly what I wanted.
That's great.
So it's more personal.
But you also know what works for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what...
Whatever.
I wish I could we just have everybody over to our house. This is pretty wonderful. We find ourselves, we were supposed to go tonight to this really cool thing. We got tickets to this TV thing we wanted to go to, and we're really looking forward to it. And then we just decided to stay home because
home is nice.
Home is nice. It's good when home is nice.
Yeah, it is very nice.
Crystal Rowland has several questions. How long did it take you to be able to support your family as a full-time entertainer? I'll get back to you. No, she goes on to say, how did you make ends meet initially?
I know everybody's shocked that we somehow make it work.
Well, here's what's funny too, is we're doing okay now. And it's, I travel a lot because you can make more money if you get on an airplane and go do what we do. What's funny though is like last was it? Yeah.
What?
Last night? No, the night before last. When was I in Vegas?
Night before last.
Night before last. I'm at this event. I do a performance, and this is what you get a lot as an entertainer. People go, "Wow, that was great! Oh, that was so fun! I had a time of my life." What do you do for a living? Because people can't fathom that you can make a good living doing this.
Well, you're a good businessman.
Yeah, thank you, babe.
You guys, Taylor honestly is the hardest worker when it comes, maybe a little obsessive, when it comes to doing stuff in relation to business or the home. More so me, the home. But he gets it done, and he tries really hard.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah.
I think that people think that if you're working as an entertainer full time, that it's number one, incredibly lucrative financially, or that this just they see you traveling, they go, oh wow, that's just so fun, you get to travel.
Oh, it's work.
And I mean, just today I had a little bit of a breakdown, one of my bi-weekly emotional moments.
We all have them.
Have them.
I hope so.
I know.
Please
it's just
say you have them too.
It's not just Katie and I.
Make us all feel better.
Our only rule is we both can't be panicking at the same time. So we take turns. No, but even just night before last I was in Vegas. Tonight I take a red eye to Chicago, and then I go to Fargo, North Dakota, and I perform there. And then day after that I go to Dallas and perform, and then the next night I'm in San Diego. And people think, wow, that's so fun. But you're not sightseeing.
No.
He's
just on a plane.
Airport terminal, plane, rental car, hotel, ballroom, and then do that in reverse.
No joke. You have called me and been like, honey, I don't know where I am. Wait, does the calendar say what airport am I in right now? I don't know.
I've fallen asleep on a plane and woken up and not known where I just came from or where I'm supposed to be going. Known that I'm supposed to switch planes somewhere.
Yeah, but you didn't know where.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's also great. I say all that because you talk about working hard, and I think people think that entertainment is just fun and doing shows, but 95% of it is all this other stuff no one sees, and it's totally worth it if that's what you want to do for a living, but it's not people just handing you money and you doing the part of it that you love.
So what kind of work do you do to keep your business going?
Oh, you just interviewed me.
I did, because I think it's valuable for people to hear what you do. And I'm speaking of what you...
Right.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Taylor wakes up at 5:30 in the morning. Well, first of all, let me start over. Our family came to a crossroads. It became challenging for Taylor to get through the whole day with all these things that were racing through his mind of everything he needed to get done for work. And what I mean is calling clients back, creating new material. He wanted to write a book, all the different things that
Editing podcasts.
Yeah, that's another big one.
Sending out proposals for new shit. You know?
It goes on and on and on. So during the day, he would be all stressed out, and it didn't feel like we were having good quality family time, because most of the time was just, I got to hurry up and do this, or he wasn't mentally there, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we needed to figure out a solution to make it work. And so that's where the shed was born. Because, I mean, we thought of solutions, maybe an office in the house, have the kids share a room, all these things, but it just interrupted stuff in the house too much. And every time he had a podcast recording, me and the kids would have to leave the house and make other plans, and it was just a lot. So,
and I didn't want to find an office. I mean, we live near downtown Upland, so I could have rented an office space, but then I don't want to have to go so far, because when I'm home, I want to be home. So that was part of the challenge too, is like, you know, you travel for a couple days a week, and then when you're home, you don't want to just be working all the time. So,
well, and we had to explain that to our kids, because they thought, okay, Daddy only works when he goes away.
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
Right.
You work a lot from home. I mean, that's what you do. And that was hard for them to understand. And
I've seen, and I want you to keep sharing on this, but I've seen so many friends do it the wrong way, where they go and they work hard on the road just trying to get to the show and do the show, and then they come home and they want to just check out because they're not present with their family because they're tired. Mm-hmm. Because they go every night and do these late night comedy gigs, and then they sleep till 1:00 in the afternoon. And I didn't want to do that either. So yeah, we were just trying to figure out how to do that. And that's when we got the idea to build a place.
Yeah, and it really, really helped our family. And not just the shed itself, but him making a schedule for working. So he wakes up. You share your schedule, because I can't remember it all.
Well, it's again, everything. I will say this: everything in entertainment is flexible. So this schedule is what works when it works, and when it doesn't, we shift. But
we've become okay with that.
So we built, for those of you who haven't seen, we built what we call the World Shed Quarters, or the backyard office, or whatever else we call it. We basically built a really cool room out of a shed from Home Depot. No, from Costco.
No, Costco, yes.
So we ordered this shed, and we built it and made it awesome and finished it on the inside. And it's literally a tiny little office that we don't have to share with anyone or pay anything for once we built it. So what I do is I wake up on... What are you looking at?
I'm sorry. The roof has a spot. I don't remember that little piece on the ceiling.
Oh, yeah. It's always been there.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You notice
I'm trying to flash back to when we put the ceiling up and trying to remember if... I'm sorry. Easily distracted. I was diagnosed with ADD as a child. I don't believe it.
I've never been tested, but I'm sure I'd ace it. Yeah. My schedule.
Yes, your schedule.
So my schedule is, there's basically 3 main things I do, other than phone calls and emails and all that kind of stuff with clients. And that kind of stuff has to be kind of around their schedule, the phone calling and the meetings and that kind of stuff. So other than that, the 3 things I do are the podcast, and then writing and creating new tricks and jokes and that kind of stuff. And also, I really wanted to write a book, which we're in the process of doing right now. So I wake up at 5:30 Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I just come out to the shed and work till 9 o'clock.
We give you till 10.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's what I tell the girls. I tell the girls 10 o'clock, so they don't.
Yeah. It's usually before then.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
fine if it's not, babe.
Oh, you're so cool.
Well,
Just I'm a dork. So I come out here and have 3 or 4 uninterrupted hours, and here's what's great about that is on Mondays I know I've got 4 hours to edit the podcast. And that's like doing the finishing touches after we've recorded. That's going through and cleaning it up, putting it online, and getting it all set up on to go on Spotify and all that jazz. But what's great about knowing that we've got that time on Monday to edit is I'm not spending the whole week in my head going, when am I going to edit? When am I going to do it?
oh, it changes everything.
And
it
so
really is
I
fantastic.
don't worry about it because I know that time, unless I'm traveling, that time I know I'm going to have to edit. And then on Tuesday, I write. So I come out here and just write stuff for the book. And then on Wednesday is my creative day. And that's really, really helped me. And there may be a way for you to do that as a creative individual or whatever role that you're in life, is giving yourself a set time to do certain things you have to do every week. So you're not always worrying, when am I going to get to that? When am I going to get to that? And it's made a huge difference for us.
Yeah, it really has. I think Connie asked how you make money
on the podcast.
for the podcast.
Yeah,
yes.
Connie wanted to know, how do you make money on the podcast? Well, Connie, there's a couple different ways that people make money on podcasts. Once you get into, hundreds of thousands of downloads, which we're just slightly below right now.
Just a
Just
little bit below.
But no, we've done really good.
Yeah.
I mean, in a year, we're doing really, really good. But once we get a little more downloads, we can start jumping into doing some paid advertisements where sponsors will pay for you to just advertise on your podcast 15 or 20 seconds before it starts.
Yeah.
Currently what we're doing, in which I just love conceptually, is we're inviting people to be producers of the show. And just asking people, hey, if you listen to this program, it's absolutely free. I do it every single week. Whether people give or not, I'm going to do it. This isn't like a telethon where it's like, if you don't give, we're shutting it down. I'm not doing that. But we give people an opportunity, if you like the program and you want to help offset the cost of it, because it does take a lot of time and a lot of effort every single week, not only to edit, but to record and to set up appointments and to travel, to go meet new people to have on the podcast. So people give through a website called Patreon. And some people give $1 a month. It's only $12 a year, but it actually adds up. The more people you have given, the more that makes a difference for us. And we have some people that give $25. Some people give $50 a month. It makes a huge difference, guys. So quick plug, thanks to Connie here, is if you would like to be a producer of the show, we would be really grateful. I'd send you a sticker, and I'd send you some other stuff just as a little thank you for doing that. But if you'd like to be a producer of the show, all it takes is $1 a month. You can do that by going to abouttobreakpodcast.com and scrolling down to the support the show or become a producer button, or you can go directly to patreon.com/abouttobreak.
Okay,
And,
wait. I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay. Taylor,
Yes, Katie.
of all the things that you do,
Uh-huh.
magic shows,
Uh-huh.
the podcast,
Yeah.
writing a book,
Yeah.
am I forgetting anything else that you do?
I don't know. I don't know what else I do.
What of those things gives you the most joy or most fulfillment?
I absolutely love performing, and that's what I want to do all the time. The challenge that I have is that most of my performances right now are not the type of shows that I'd like to do ultimately. It's someone else's show, someone else's event. So there are times when I do a show that's amazing and I love it and it's so fulfilling, and there are other times I do shows where it feels more like a job, and I just don't like that.
Yeah. But it's okay.
And it's
because
okay,
you've
and I'm
dealt with-
grateful for it, because it's what allows us to just continue doing what we're doing.
Exactly.
However, this podcast is my favorite thing to do right now. It's always encouraging to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you and I always wanting to just help people. I feel like
Yeah.
it's an opportunity for us. I wanted to share things with people that could encourage them and help them out. And, I've never liked it when people position themselves as like a guru.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, I don't have it all figured out. I'm trying to figure it
Well,
out.
I think that your podcast is called About to Break. It's about people who are struggling
Right.
and have ups and downs. And,
Right.
And you and I, and every entertainer has those struggles.
Yes, and it's
that's the common denominator. Yeah.
and it gives us an opportunity because here's what's great: even if someone's having a hard time, even if they're in a different industry than you're in, you can hear from their experience. And every time I talk with someone on the podcast, they share something that I go, "Oh, I could try that."
Yeah, it's helpful.
And I think because we have social media, but we don't really socialize with people.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really most people don't talk to their neighbors. Most people don't, apart from the few people they see at work, have a lot of close connections right now, I would say. I just want to expose people to other thoughts and conversations and really cool people that they might not before have a chance to get to know.
Yeah.
So I really freaking like the podcast.
There's never a time where you feel like, oh, I got to record a podcast.
No. And there are plenty of times with shows where I'm like, I really don't. And it's not that I don't want to do a show, but it's like...
It goes back to that like creative whatever vibe. I don't even know how to say it, but where you have to be creating. And sometimes when you're doing a magic show, you're just doing the same show you did last week.
Yeah.
There's some aspect of creativity in it, but it doesn't always fulfill that need.
Yeah, you're right. That's why I love improv. That's why improv's great.
Yes.
Because when it works, it's like this is the best part of performing is coming up with the fun thing to do. And that's all improv is.
Yeah.
And when a magic show goes great, it's because something funny happened and now maybe that's going to get added into the show, but the best part, there's no better thing. It's never going to get better than when you figure out, oh, if I take this and this and this and put it together and present it this way, the creation of it is like the best part.
For you. I don't know.
For me, maybe not for everybody.
I don't know, but it definitely is for you.
So I think that is the, that's where the juice is.
Yeah. And I think you've kind of slowly just realized that, maybe more so about yourself.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, when were we talking, yesterday or the day before?
I don't know.
About the, in magic, it's interesting the way guys kind of approach it. Most guys approach it is like honing an act, in comedy, everything's disposable. So it's like once someone hears a joke, they don't want to hear that same joke again. Mm-hmm. But a really good magic trick, people go, ooh, let me see that again, So a lot of magicians, they spend their whole life adding pieces to this large collection that they're going to perform almost every time.
Yeah.
But I just was
it's not
talking
your
like,
deal.
no, like, I mean, I think very few guys in magic have ever done that. I mean, Penn and Teller do it all consistently all the time. They're always creating. They're always doing something new in the show or getting rid of old stuff. But I also think that's why a lot of magicians don't find an audience, and they're always borrowing someone else's audience because they're not doing new things.
Yeah.
I love different comedians, but if they never wrote new material, I would stop paying attention because even though I love that act they did, I've seen that act.
Yeah.
So I think that there's something there. It's not a complete thought, but it's a very fresh one.
So that's something that we've been talking about. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like the idea of coming up with I like the idea of coming up with a show, doing it for a year, and then just burning it. Not doing it again.
Because you find joy in the creating it.
I do.
Yeah. I get it. I do.
I've been, let's see. Oh my goodness. We've been talking for an hour already?
Oh, wow.
It's pretty fun, huh?
Yeah.
We should always have our conversations with headphones and microphones.
Maybe my ear is too big or something, but what?
What is it? Hurting your head?
It is. Does it hurt your head?
After
Do I have
a while.
sensitive ears?
Well, I don't know. I think, you kind of get used to it, I guess. Putting headphones on?
Okay, I don't know.
You don't wear headphones.
No, I don't.
I'm sorry.
It's not a normal thing for me.
I'm laughing at that, not at you. I'm laughing that it's.
Oh, I know that.
It's very funny that I'm used to wearing headphones because it's not just, just on the computer and stuff.
Yeah.
This is not interesting.
No, headphone. We're talking, guys. This is a serious conversation.
We've gotten deep into the headphone
about
talk.
headphones.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Sarah had some questions. You're right. We didn't get to Sarah's questions.
Guys, we're so easily distracted.
So easily distracted. Was that on Facebook?
We kind of answered it. It was on Facebook.
Okay, let me see.
It was about how did we prepare for full-time financial. I don't know.
There's Sarah. Oh, she asked about preparing financially to take the leap into full-time entertainment. She said also, what is running a weekly podcast like? What is the time commitment, etc.? We talked a little bit about that.
Oh, well, you didn't talk about the time commitment. Like, how much time do you spend a week, including driving to a place or whatever?
Yeah,
approximately.
It varies, but I would say realistically, probably the shortest amount of time I've spent doing the podcast in a week is 5 hours. Mm-hmm. And I've spent up to 20 hours in a week.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, because I travel so much, to do one of these every single week, sometimes it's, being home for 2 weeks and trying to record 8 episodes while you're home so that you can edit them.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I didn't factor in is just, the travel time. Sometimes people come to us. Sometimes I come to them. Very rarely do we do it over the phone or like over Skype. I just don't like it as much. And I'm willing to do it if we need to. But, it takes a lot if we're going to meet somebody in a city that they live in because it's convenient, then I've got to find a place, research and find a place and rent a studio to record and head out there and then drive back, and everywhere in LA is at least an hour away, it seems like. So yeah, it takes a little bit of time. I have other friends who do podcasts that spend not nearly as much time because they always record somewhere central and just put it up without editing it. But I don't know, I find that taking the time to take out coughs and pauses and making it easier to listen to is more enjoyable for me. So
Taylor doesn't do anything halfway.
Some things.
Oh, here she comes.
Lacey!
Here she comes.
Lacey, you're on the podcast on your
We're
birthday.
recording right now. Hi, baby.
Hi, Lacey.
Hi.
Our dog has just escaped. We got a dog. She's adorable. She's supposed to be an emotional support dog, but I think we are her emotional support people. So Sarah, so the podcast, it does take some time to do, but because I enjoy that, that's like a creative outlet for me, is like the production of it all.
It's really therapy for you.
It is very therapeutic.
It really is.
When we left the church, I mean, I've said this before, but part of why I started this was when we left the church and lost all our money and all our friends and our home.
And our kids had to deal with that too.
Yeah.
And so dealing with, talking to them about that was a huge challenge.
It was a rough time. And conversations like this with friends was the only thing we had.
Yeah.
These kind of unfiltered conversations about, open and honest about life were what kept us going. And so then when I started doing full-time entertainment, it wasn't the shows that kept me going. It was talking to other performers before and after and getting the real scoop. Because you look on Facebook and you just go, everybody's perfect and everybody can afford to go on fancy vacations and I suck. That's how you feel, right? Like I've never gone on Facebook and been like, I feel so much better now that I just spent that hour looking at.
I don't know what I've figured out from my Facebook.
I go on Katie's Facebook and feel great.
It's fantastic. Katie, it really is just puppy videos.
She's somehow tricked the algorithm to not show her any people. It just shows like adorable dog and
the truth is,
pandas playing with puppies.
I only follow people that post videos about dogs.
That's a good life thing, babe. Oh man. So the podcast has been great. Thank you guys for listening to it. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to do this because it makes a difference for me. It keeps me going. That's why I say even if people don't, if we don't ever make money off it, I mean, it might get challenging, but something I would still do because I love it.
Yeah, and it benefits our family.
Oh yeah, emotionally, I'm less jerky.
But if we did make money from it,
that would also
would
help our
that
family.
benefit our family?
We should do, you know how they do like sponsors? If people give to Patreon, we should say like, this week's toilet paper is brought to you by,
Yeah.
and then like, you know, like
Okay,
I was
go
saying
ahead.
like the people who sponsor. So like Dan and Katie Snyder give money every month. We could say
Okay.
like that our toilet paper, like they've helped pay for.
Oh, I get
You
what
see
you're
what I'm saying? 'Cause
saying.
ultimately
They
they're
help
helping
pay
support
for our
us.
toilet paper.
I thought that
Therefore,
would be
the
funny.
toilet
We
paper.
could have a sponsorship of just like, our milk and eggs came from.
So funny.
Or we could do it like the NPR, like the public radio, like milk and egg support comes from listeners of the podcast and the Doris B. Weber Foundation.
Hey, but if anybody knows any sponsors out there,
That's true.
that would be so excited to sponsor this amazing podcast.
It's pretty great. Quick thing here as we get ready to wrap up. I have been trying to push Katie to start a YouTube channel. Let us know what you think about that, because she is the most creative person that I know and does really cool stuff and makes things that most people think are garbage into beautiful works of art. So
That sounds like I'm like an artist.
you are.
Oh, well,
What?
I don't know.
Here's the thing.
I don't create artwork. I'm just saying.
No, I'm talking about like
Okay.
Yeah.
I enjoy, I love taking an ugly, gross, what everybody else by all appearances would assume was worthless
Yeah.
piece of furniture
Yeah.
and making it beautiful.
Yeah.
That
oh, yeah.
brings my heart so much joy, because I think about the person that created that
Oh yeah, and how
piece
much
of
they loved
furniture.
it.
and what they were thinking when they built it.
Or if it's old, like how many different places it's been.
And there's some stuff that's just flat out old, you know.
Yeah.
But some stuff you can tell somebody really enjoyed making. And
Well, and this is where I think what you do is so unique is most people there are some people who like refab furniture, like they do like, what's it called, where you like remake vintage furniture.
what do you mean? Like refurbish?
Like, no, there are people who do like the part of what you do where you find something old and then you make it new and cool.
Like you make it into something else?
Yes.
Entirely?
Yeah.
Like people take dressers and turn them into like a bookshelf or TV cabinet
Yes.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So people do stuff like that. And then
Which isn't bad.
Which isn't bad. And then there are people who will like go to a store and buy a bunch of that stuff and put it in a house.
Oh, yes.
But what you do is you walk
Oh.
into a room, a blank room, and you go, and then all of a sudden you start finding and creating and putting and building.
Because I have discovered through recent therapy
Isn't it great?
that for me, like she asked me, when are you most relaxed? Like when, because I deal with anxiety. When is your anxiety at the lowest? And I said, when there's like a huge project going on in the house.
Like the
Like-
thing that most people
Oh,
panic
yeah.
about.
Like when our kitchen is completely gutted and where everything total
Yeah.
disarray,
Oh, yeah.
or the bathroom
There-
is completely gutted. I am at my best. I feel great, which shocked her and myself. I mean, saying it out loud, I was like, boy, that's weird.
Yeah.
Because most people wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
So coming to that realization, I realized how much mental health or mental stability it is for me. How much,
Yeah.
how good it is for my brain,
For your mental health.
how good it is for my mental health to make projects, and not just projects, creative projects where I can really come up with something on my own.
Yeah. And
That
do it.
is good for me. Really good.
Well, even, I mean, in the studio here, like the fact that this table we're sitting at was your dad's workbench. And you see, she's smiling. She's so happy about it. Like,
it brings me so much joy.
and the base of it is
An odd amount of joy.
And the base of the table is a steering column from a Model A.
That
Like-
somebody's old hands. Maybe their hands weren't old at the
Right?
time.
Yeah.
But drove around.
Somebody's grandparents fell in love in this car.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty rad.
And and we're using it and enjoying it and loving it.
Like
Like our old home.
Yeah, and the thing, like, so we bought this house. Well, we will be continuing to buy this house for the next 30 years. But we bought this house in October of last year, and just in the year since we've been here, we've done so many different things to the house. But it's not just like go to Pottery Barn and buy a piece of furniture. You want things
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want every single piece of furniture in my home to be meaningful in some way, special, unique. It could be a store-bought. I do have one store-bought piece of furniture that I love, and I'll keep that in my house until I decide I don't love it. But everything else in the house, we've had part in creating.
Yeah.
And that brings me so much. They all have stories.
Yeah.
Everything does.
We can take this out if we decide not to put this on there, but we have been talking about either starting a YouTube channel or maybe even creating like a web series about these little projects we do, because I'm telling you, seeing Katie do it, it's really fun to see the process of how, when we lived in a little duplex when we first got married, and then when we moved to bought our first condo that was 600 square feet,
Mm-hmm.
and then when we moved from there to our 2-bedroom house, and then when we went from that to living in the 2-bedroom apartment, going from a house back to an apartment,
Yeah.
then going from that to a condo, then going from that to here, everywhere we've gone, you've been able to take that space and make it our own.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking yesterday, and again, we'll pull this out if we decide not to do it or not to put it in there, but the idea of maybe we call the show Make Do,
Mm-hmm.
because, you know, so many people are just like, well, you just have to make do because you don't have money or you don't have time or you don't have resources or whatever. But you've been able to make and do like amazing stuff with limited money.
Well, yeah. Once I discovered via my therapist that
Shout out to Katie's therapist.
that it gives me mental health. How do I say it? It is good for my mental health.
Yeah, that's right.
To create projects and to make things.
Yeah.
I realized that I needed to keep doing that. I needed to keep my mind busy and my hands busy and just keep coming up with things. Well, of course, that can get expensive.
Right.
I mean, I want to get new countertops and a new sink. I mean, I have a ginormous list of stuff that I want to do to the house. It's endless.
Yeah, people
But
are
it
like,
gets me so excited.
we tease people about it, and they were like, about if we did a YouTube channel of you doing this stuff, they're like, well, you're going to run out of stuff to do at your house.
No,
it's
no,
like, no.
No. That will be a sad
Well,
day.
and what you're saying, Kate, is good for people who are artists or entertainers who are waiting for an opportunity to create something. And what you're saying is, like, you don't have to wait till you have enough money or till you have, we're not saying go put it all on a credit card. We're saying get creative.
Yeah.
Use what you have. Find something that someone else was going to throw away.
Well, here's an example.
Yeah.
We didn't have any money at the time, and not any money. We didn't have extra money for projects at the time, and I knew that I mentally needed to do a project. So I was scanning the house, going in every room. What can I possibly do? What resources do I have?
Yeah.
I've got to do something.
Yeah.
And that was the day I was like, Taylor, we need to rip up the carpet in the girls' room.
This was like a couple months ago.
Yeah, I was
not
like,
that long
we
ago.
got to do this. And Taylor's pretty awesome. And I think once he realized how good it was for my mental health, he kind of stood behind it. Before it was like, you need to slow down, stop with the projects. But then we realized it's so helpful that he supports it a lot. Not that he didn't before, but whatever.
Well, it's fun when we do these projects because our house was built in 1906, so it's 111 years old. So you don't know, when you pull up carpet that's maybe 10, 15 years old, you don't know that was put down 100 years after the house
That's what
was
makes
there.
it so exciting.
So it's exciting, but it's also like you don't know if you're going to rip up the floor in 20 feet into a room, you're going to find a big hole in the floor.
And I do have a tactic. I do have a tactic
to get me to do this?
to get you to do stuff. You know this tactic.
What is it?
I just start it. No real ability. You know, I'll just start yanking up that carpet or moving furniture around or painting a wall or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he must help me finish it.
There are some times when you're getting, like, you get yourself.
You're so in a pickle. Yeah.
When we lived at the apartment, one time Katie was trying to move a couch.
No. Something fell behind the couch.
Oh, that.
That
yeah.
doesn't relate,
That was
but it's a
pretty
funny
awesome
story. I got stuck. My arm got stuck
And
behind
she
the
was
couch.
sitting on the couch, so the couch couldn't move because she was on it, and her arm was wedged between the wall and the couch.
And I was alone with the girls.
And they were
They
little.
thought it was hysterical.
The girls had to call. You had
Uncle
to call
Mark. Yeah, my
Katie's
brother.
had to come over and pick up the couch with her on. That's like one of those really sad. Like, good thing you were young and had a cell phone. Because if you were an old person,
I would have just died.
that's like those stories where they're like, and then Bob must have dropped his sandwich behind the couch because they found him 4 weeks later. I got really dark. Oh, you just.
Oh, my tactic.
Yeah,
Just
your
start the
tactic. So there you go.
project.
You
Yeah.
just start it.
Yeah.
Well, and that's another, and this, it can be stressful at times when we do it this way, but so often there's these things that we know we need to do. We know we could do it. It's not like an issue of we don't have the money. We know we got the time, but it's just a scary thing. And it's like ripping up a Band-Aid. It's like if you just start it to the point of no return,
Then you have to.
you have to. Like, you can use this tactic on yourself. Like, everyone who's listening to this has something they know that they're capable of doing, but it scares the crap out of them.
Do it.
And they just aren't flipping the switch. It's like, you know what? If you know you need to do it and it's a good thing for you and it's going to be healthy, just start it and then you have to finish
Just
it.
make it and do it.
Make do.
Make do.
Boom! Somebody put that on a t-shirt.
No, don't.
Don't.
Because
We
we're
will.
gonna put it on a t-shirt.
Let us know if you would like a make do t-shirt. Copyright Katie Hughes 2018.
Oh, I did say that. Okay,
You
I
did.
said it, but
You said make
heard
do.
it
Yeah. was
and
like-
then made it into something.
Yeah.
That's why we're such a good team.
Can I get like 8% of that?
You can have all of it, baby.
We'll sell t-shirts later and we'll use that money to continue to buy chalk paint and old pieces of furniture.
Okay.
We're not trying to say that we
Yeah.
know it all or that
You know what it is? Here.
Go for it. Do it, Kate.
This may or may not be accurate.
Do it.
So we discovered, we all did, you guys and us, discovered that I had this strange obsession with doing projects, and it's good for my mental health. So then I thought, let's do something with this.
Well, here's where the idea for it came, and I love that we're now into promoting a thing that we haven't made yet.
This won't probably be on anything.
It'll be on there. We haven't made it yet, but we're promoting the thing.
Yeah, we don't have everything figured out. We don't know how to do it, what we do.
No, but well, here's a big thing, and this came about building this room. Is people go, how do you know how to do that?
No, we don't.
We don't. We just start doing it, and then once you get 4 walls up, you go, well, I got to put something on the inside. I better watch a YouTube video, or I better read a book, or And so, a lot of friends and family have seen like Katie do projects, and they go, hey, will you help me do that? What we can do is show you how we did it. And then if you want to do it, you can do it. But the biggest hurdle is just like you're saying, doing something.
Yeah.
Actually making something and doing something. Make do.
Even though we don't always know what we're doing.
No, we don't know. Like we just said we're
make it.
we just said we're going to start a YouTube channel or make a web series, and we don't know how to do that. I don't know how to make a web series, but we're going to do it, I think.
She's back. She's asking if she can have pudding. Did you buy her pudding?
I bought Cozy Shack
Hey,
tapioca
FYI.
pudding. Yeah.
You buy them things.
You send me with them to a grocery store and they get stuff. We keep having to edit because our dog or our children keep coming and asking. for
It's
that.
really our dog and
our dog
the children
and a child.
together. It's
Yeah.
just one
the dog
child.
doesn't come by itself. The dog has an accomplice. Yeah, so like even this idea of making a channel or making a web series, it's just fun. It's exciting and it's fun. And I also love that we do this kind of stuff with our kids and they get to see that you can do things. You don't need to make excuses like you don't know how to do stuff. You just figure out how to do it.
Yeah, I remember Maddie was talking to somebody and they were wanting us to go pick up spray paint. Courtney down the street, she owns a really cool store called Rusty Gypsy.
Pretty cool.
In downtown Upland. I highly suggest you check it out.
You should go check it out. They are not a sponsor of the podcast. This is an unsolicited review.
Yes, and it's just straight from the heart. We
and
love them.
Katie's gonna have some furniture in there that she's made. You can go see some of Katie's creations at the Rusty Gypsy in Upland.
Yep.
Okay.
She was wanting. We're good friends of theirs. And she wanted us to go pick up some spray paint. And she's like, how much does spray paint cost? And Maddie was like, she gave the like almost exact number of what spray paint was. And Courtney looked at her like, only your kids would know.
Well, then somebody recently was like talking about, I don't know if we can put this on, I don't even remember who it was, but it was talking about having painters come in to paint.
Oh, yeah. Somebody was mentioning... Oh, I think it was at the shop, at Courtney's shop.
Someone was in there and they were...
So Courtney, at Rusty Gypsy, people will give her their furniture for her to paint. And she paints their furniture for a fee. Anyway, we were in there watching her paint some of the furniture, and Maddie was so confused by this. Why would somebody bring their furniture in here for you to paint?
Why wouldn't they just paint it?
Why wouldn't they just paint it themselves? So I literally had to have this whole conversation about a lot of people have people paint their houses and, fix things for them. And she was just awestruck.
And that's totally fine. If you have the money to do it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it's not your thing, that's great. But it goes back to you saying, like, your method for doing projects is you just start it. Mm-hmm. Everything can be that, like this podcast started because one day I said, I'm going to start a podcast and it's coming out every Wednesday. And then I had to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do a podcast. Mm-hmm. I had no idea what went into it or the amount of time or who I was going to have on it.
But you researched.
But yeah, but
you decided, you researched, you did it. Yeah, you did it.
This goes back to you and I talking about how people say they can't cook.
Yeah, you don't want to cook.
You don't want to cook.
Just say you don't want to cook.
If you don't want to cook, that's fine. If you don't like to cook, that's fine.
If you don't like, Taylor doesn't like to paint.
I hate painting.
He says he's not good at painting, I have to continuously tell him, it's not that you're not good at painting. You don't want to paint.
No, I am not good at it,
because
but I don't desire to get better at it.
Okay.
Right? I'm currently not good at it, but
that's true.
But I don't say I can't do it.
You're not good at painting because you don't want to paint.
Right.
You have no desire to paint.
Right. Like, it's not like, some people have just gorgeous singing voices, right? That's just a gift.
Yes.
That's just, God bless them with this voice, right?
And when I say paint, I mean like paint houses and walls and things, not houses, but walls.
Right.
Not like an artist painting. That's a gift too.
Yes. But I mean, it's like painting something like a piece of furniture with precision is something you learn by doing it over and over and over again.
Yeah, there's technique.
I don't say I can't do it. I don't want to do it.
And I was raised in a house, and you have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're raised in a house where you did things yourself. Like
right.
My dad did stuff around the house all the time. I didn't know you could call people to fix stuff. Genuinely.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing. You want to put new floor in, you put it in yourself.
Yeah.
That's just how I was, how I remembered life to be.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's the right way. It just
it's just the way we grew up.
It's familiar to me.
I just think that we need to remind people, because it used to be years ago, everyone made their own stuff and you grew your own food and you raised your own animals. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Used to be that was just the way life was, and then now I think people aren't aware that skills and abilities and things are accessible to them if they just want to do it.
Yeah.
So we're not trying to say that we've got it all figured out, because by all means we do not.
I think what we're trying to say is we never know what we're doing. We just do it.
We fail boldly.
Yeah.
Well, Kate, we've talked for an hour and a half.
Okay.
Can you believe it?
How much of it is usable?
I think at least 13 minutes. Guys, thank you for joining us on this first ever Ask Us episode of the podcast. And the first episode with the fetching Mrs. Hughes.
Yeah.
Did you have fun?
That's fun.
Would you do it again?
I would.
That's fun.
Yeah.
This was really nice. So you would do this again?
Yeah. If it was helpful or anybody enjoyed it.
You know what, babe? It was helpful to me. So
Okay.
I'm sure other people will
For your
enjoy
sake
it.
only.
But for my sake only,
we'll just record it and you
do
can
this.
listen to it
Yes.
yourself.
Yeah. We'll have my own little private podcast that's just oh my goodness. Hey, Katie.
Yes, Taylor.
If someone's listening to the podcast right now
Yeah.
and they go, that's great, I can't believe this program is free.
Yeah.
And that they do it every single week.
Yeah, free,
they-
no money.
And they always have interesting individuals who
Yeah.
share parts of their life I can't hear anywhere else.
Yeah.
I would like to support this.
They should go to the About to Break website and become a producer.
That's right. That's right. You can go to abouttobreakpodcast.com.
Oh, About to Break podcast.
Technically, it is the About to Break website,
Oh, okay.
but it's
whatever.
abouttobreakpodcast.com.
Yeah.
Why, that's right, Katie.
Nah.
They can go to abouttobreakpodcast.com and click on the Become a Producer button. And for as little as $1 or more, you can help buy tapioca pudding for our children.
If I could become a producer, I would.
Maybe instead of saying like give $1 or more, we could have different tiers where it's like you could buy this month's laundry soap.
You could buy our Amazon Prime.
Oh, that's another way they can support the
Right?
podcast. Did you know that, Katie?
Oh, yes.
People can go to the abouttobreakpodcast.com website, and there's a little Amazon link there, and they can see some great items for sale. But if they click on that, do you know that Amazon will give us a kickback?
Wow.
How-
We love Amazon. It is really how we order everything.
It is. We eventually will never leave this house.
Yeah, we love it too much.
But thank you guys to everyone who's supporting the show. Thank you guys for listening, and we hope you enjoy it as much as we do. What else do we want to say? We got some big ideas. We want to do this web series of Make Do and some really cool projects, and eventually we want to make this a video podcast. That would be
Wow,
fun.
Yes.
Lots of cool stuff, folks, and lots of fun interviews ahead. Thanks for joining us on the journey. Right now we're going to turn this off and go.
To Target.
Are we going to Target?
Yeah, because we're going.
We
shopping
are
for our
going to.
birthdays.
Yay!
Well-
We are going to Target.
Yeah.
See, every date ends with Target.
Target
Every podcast ends
Target. Yeah.
with Target. We'll see you guys
Hey,
later.
Target can sponsor us if they want to.
I don't know if Target's ever sponsored a podcast, but that would
They
be great.
should.
Because currently we are sponsoring Target. All right, guys. We'll see you later.